Evening all. Alright, I ran away. I had to run away. They came after me, but I managed to get away, and I hid. And I'm not proud of that, but yeah, I hid. So it worked quite well. And as the sun sets, I'm not entirely sure if they've actually worked out where I am. So what I was doing was cutting wood, kind of just a bit further down the beach, and I heard the crow craw. If you know what that means, it was basically the sound of a crow, and that's them. That's actually them signalling. Oh, there's something up. So I ran in a different direction because I'm not going to run back to my base because that would have been stupid. And yeah, it seemed to work. So terrifying though, bloody terrifying. It's kind of an all or nothing move as well doing this, but you'll see. Now, to be honest, the fire was not the best idea. But again, it's weird. It's maybe because it's because I've kind of been in other parts of the island. They've run to that part. I don't know, because every so often they come and investigate the wreck as well, but they never come to investigate this. So maybe the beach is off limits or something? I don't know. There's something not quite right about it. But, you know. Again, walking around with the torch on is bloody stupid, I've got to admit. But I needed Molotovs, because Molotovs are very, very useful against them. So you could just use them quite aggressively against them. And as you can see, I've got a fair bit of booze, and all you do is you combine the rags and the booze, and that makes a Molotov. And then you have to throw it in a certain amount of time, or it explodes in your hand. What it gives you is a bloody good weapon against them, because it will kind of area of effect as well. So if you can get a few of them together, it's bloody good. Anyway, so on the beach is loads of, I guess, suitcases, and you know they do respawn. So I guess there is a loot mechanic at play here. That's a dead shark, because there's sharks in that sea, and so I saw that boat over there, and I was about to swim to it, and I realised there's sharks swimming around it, so I'm going to keep the fuck away from that for a while. Yeah, to be honest, I've got to admit this game has me on absolute tenterhooks as I play it, and I don't know why, but it just gets me. There's something like in the amygdala oblongata in your brain, the fight or flight reflex bit. Every time I hear that crow, I'm running into the woods. I'm not going to show it because it's not the most, it's not the most befitting of of me. But I've got to admit, I'm bloody impressed with this game. So now, one of the things I realised at this point is that probably the next thing to build is going to be a barricade to section off the fire, because they see the fire from quite far away. So what we've actually done, or going to do rather, is we build a barricade around the fire to begin with, which is a pretty decent move to do, and I'd recommend you do that. You shield your fire to the sea, so basically for inland you can't see it at all, and that way they'll never they generally won't see it. Eventually you get to the point where and in this case particularly we did that, is you completely encompass your base with a barricaded wall, and then in theory they'll never get in, and it takes the spider mutant, which I won't go into, you'll see. It takes a spider mutant to actually, root us out of our keep, if that makes sense. I'm still finding that fire is the best weapon you've got. Just set fires everywhere and then lure them onto the fire and it kills them. That is working rather well. And I've got to admit, as I look back at this footage now, I'm amazed how brave I am. I guess it's just because I wasn't aware of really how perilous this was to walk around with a flipping torch in my hand. But there we go. To be honest, the AI is a mystery to me, because it does seem that they leave you quite alone, generally. Even when they first meet you, they're kind of loath to attack you, but they do bait you. They'll run at you and they'll kind of startle you. So it's my foolish mistake to actually fight back. I didn't do that for a bit, and I kind of got the impression that I think they got bored of me actually. So after a while, I think they gave up. Certainly hunting me, because all I did was stick to the beach, the coastline, and I just got the impression as long as you don't go too far the way I'm facing now, and you can go the other way quite a lot, there's no village there, there's no tribal village, so you actually are pretty far away from them at most cases. I'm told, as I read through the forums, that basically eventually they do mass, so they start to come in greater and greater numbers. Now, the last attack I had, and I'm kind of spoiling it, but the last attack I had when I had my full base built, which is a couple of, maybe a day or two more, to show. I think there was 8 of them. So 8 dudes attacked me, but I had a wall of traps basically lined up, and this wall of traps just completely decimated like 6 of them. So I managed to skewer 2 of them. I managed to crush another 2, and I caught maybe, I think it was only 2, so it was 6 in total. So I actually caught by the ankle in a noose trap 2 of them, and they're alive. So I got great pleasure as I hacked their heads off. You see, I am the monster. I guess it's not me that's it's not them that's the monster. It's me. I get that. So there we go. To be honest, the thing to bear in mind is food. Always make sure you've got plenty of food, and I think the lizard skin is also incredibly important as well. So generally try and find lizards as a food source. For some reason, right around the crash site, bunnies and lizards will always spawn. So bear that in mind, because they're probably the best to eat. Plus, once you've got a load of traps up, you actually never need to go hunting again, because slightly annoyingly, traps are set off by the wildlife. So wildlife actually spring the traps. Oh, was that me looking around? I thought I heard something. No. So traps can be sprung by the wildlife, which isn't too bad, because eventually it means you don't ever have to look for food again. But it does spring the traps, which is slightly annoying. So every time I load up the new save, what I find is there's actually loads more. Everything's respawned, so all of the suitcases are ready to be looted again. Not too sure about that. I guess they've got to do it that way. Yeah, but to be honest, I think the game is just so good. It really is. And I think as long as you control your light and your sound and you use stealth, you're going to find that actually you can really manage the enemies quite well. Now, I read on the forums, one of the things that I'm really keen to try is that there is actually a finite number of the cannibals, or whatever they are, the mutants, the humans, the tribal men. So if you kill enough of them, there'll never be a problem again. So I'm actually playing for that. So at the moment, I think my kill count is about 1920. That's quite a lot. I mean, that is it. I've already built 2 effigies, which must require at least 15 heads. So I'm quite amused at that. And the effigies do work, I've got to admit. Once you set the effigies on fire, it terrifies them. And I've noticed that is almost a surefire way to keep them the hell away. Now, there is a slight problem with this, because there's more than just human mutants, quote unquote. There's actually 2 other kinds of mutant. One is completely broken at the moment, so they're not a problem. So we won't even talk about them. But the other one, which is a major problem because it's a pretty terrifying mutant concoction of evil, hatred and death, it's called the spider mutant, which again, when I first saw it, I just wanted to drop to my knees and cry, because it was so freaking terrifying. There was something primordial popped up to my brain and took over my logical human, evolved side, and just said, oh my god, empty the bowels, run away, because that's all I wanted to do. And you'll see why. You will see why. I won't spoil it. So, to be honest, am I selling the game to you enough? This is phenomenally enjoyable, fun gaming, and the best thing about it is it's actively being developed right now, this is probably one of the few games where I could say having that development process happen while it's so developed as well. I mean, there's a lot here to enjoy. There is a whole hell of a game here already. Then, to me, that has got to be one of the most enjoyable parts of this new model of delivering a game, or producing a game through alpha and beta. And I think this is one where it really does work. Few bugs, lots of bugs in fact. The inventory bug has pretty much killed my save, so all of this, couple 4, 5, 6 days of effort has been lost effectively now, because all I can do is kind of fight. I don't have the ability to see in my inventory anything other than the basics, which is really annoying, and unfortunately there is no fix for that. It means my save is dead. So when you see what we've built, you will laugh, because it means I've got to build it all over again when they fix it. But we'd do it differently. We'd build it differently. I made so many mistakes building what I built, but I built it so quickly because I needed to. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.